Talking Podcast. I'm JJ Starr.
And I'm Downtown Andy.
Welcome. How are you, Andy?
I'm well. How are you, JJ?
I'm doing fantastic. Bloody-tastic. Fan-bloody-tastic, because this is finally episode 0, the preemptive premiere. We will have an official premiere after this, but
like an after party?
Yeah, kind of like an after party.
Well, it's WrestleMania weekend. We're going to be indisposed later.
It's going to be a party either way.
Yeah.
So we're married. We are in fact married.
2 years now.
Yeah, just over 2 years. Just over 2 years now.
Just wait till the episode where we tell them about how we met.
It's gonna be. I feel like that's gonna be a short talk, though. Yeah. I feel like you have more to say about that than I do.
I mean, I could go on forever.
We're still having 2 years later. We're still having somewhat arguments about when our actual first kiss was.
That's because
I'm telling you right now that you are wrong.
For those of you who can't see, so we concocted these off-screen cues for when, one of us goes too far, one of us needs a break, one of us needs to speak. So periodically those moments are going to happen that you may not necessarily see. Once we get into the video aspect of this, you may, notice those little Easter eggs. But again, we do have signals for when, my wife happens to be wrong about.
Yes. Apparently, I went too far.
Yeah.
And was just told by my colleague that I went too far.
Yeah. I mean, we do know the first kiss happened on the first date.
It's true.
So did the first sex.
It's true.
So did the first pancake.
There were pancakes after that. That
is not a euphemism.
It's not a sex thing. There were actual pancakes involved.
I promised her breakfast.
Oh,
that's how you land any wife, right?
We do have rules. There are going to be rules on this podcast, actually. I mean, we are here specifically to bring a little civil discourse and a lot of good talk to an otherwise discordant world.
Lots of joy. Not the dish soap, though.
No, not the dish soap.
There was this joke in my family where I don't remember what commercial I saw it on, but it must have been an ad for Joy, and they were just like, "You give me no joy." So anytime we'd be in the home, whatever aisle at the grocery store, my dad would grab a bottle of Joy off the shelf and hand it to me. He's like, "Here you go."
Really?
The dad jokes.
The beginning of the dad jokes.
They don't translate well.
No, they don't, do they? But yeah, we do have some simple rules. We're going to be talking about stuff. We are a married couple together 2 years, like we said, and we for as much as we have in common, like so many couples before us, we have a lot of points I think that we disagree on. We have, maybe not even disagree so much as just have absolutely different perspectives on.
Yes.
Yeah.
And one of the things I've appreciated most about our marriage, our relationship, is that, just on a random, any given night, when we begin a conversation, we will talk about whatever it is at length, ignoring all of our daily rituals of television and whatever else we happen to be doing. And we will just sit there and time will pass and before we know it, it'll be time to go to bed and be like, wow, we've just been talking for 4 hours.
Yeah, literal hours just go past. And I don't know. I feel like we're often tired at the end of it.
Yeah.
I feel like we're
depending on what it's about.
Yeah, I feel like we get deep. We do. We get deep, and we are like chronically honest with each other about a lot of things, and specifically our opinions about things. The beautiful thing about this relationship, I think one of the most beautiful things about this relationship is the fact that we have never been dishonest with each other.
No.
From day one, we have been 5,000% authentic us, and we have allowed each other to be our authentic selves. We have allowed each other to, despite our differences, despite our disagreements, we absolutely allow each other to have those opinions. And that is rule number 1, actually.
It's actually one of our vows.
It is one of our vows. It's true. And we have brought that to this podcast. And that is rule number 1, that there is going to be no judgment. No matter what, whatever the opinion of one of us is, the other one will respect it. We absolutely believe that if you have an opinion, regardless of whether or not it is a popular opinion or an unpopular opinion, you are absolutely allowed to have it, period.
My flatulence appreciates that.
Well, yeah.
We will get into that.
There will be episodes upon
all
episodes.
of you closet farters out there, we'll put a shout out there for you.
Is that like people farting in the closet? You've gone into our closet to fart, and I fret for my shoes. I have quite honestly feared for their safety.
There, back when we were still actually watching television downstairs on the couch, there were those times where I had to open the door to the downstairs just to let one out.
I do remember when you and I first started dating that there were a couple of days where you would actually exit the room to fart.
Oh, yeah.
You would. You wouldn't hide the fact that you had to fart, but you would leave the...
I mean, I don't know how most guys
room
operate, but when you're trying to date a pretty girl, you don't want to, even though it was, my house at the time, it's just like, I can't fart in front of this one. She looks too good.
And you were cute about it. I'm not going to lie. You were so adorable about it. I felt bad that you...
Why is this all in the past tense? Am I not adorable anymore?
No, you're still absolutely adorable. But I used to feel bad that you felt bad and you felt self-conscious. So that's when I started burping.
Listen, I just turned 36. Maybe it is time for a gastro appointment.
Listen, I just turned 40 and I can tell you it's always time for a gastro appointment.
I love how proud you are. You just keep reminding the world, like, I'm 40 now.
I am 40. I'm stoked on it. And so far, I've gotten like 2 high fives and a couple of just absolute disbeliefs.
Well, I mean, yeah, you as you've said in the past, you're very immature for your age.
I am very immature for my age, and it translates to my face.
That's okay. A lot would say the same about me.
So rule number 1, no judgment.
No judgment.
No judgment. Rule number 2, there it goes. Rule number 2, nothing personal. Absolutely no hitting below the belt.
No cheap shots.
No cheap shots. If things get heated or passionate or whatever you want to call it and everything, we will not be taking pot shots at each other.
There is no secret. Our conversations have gotten heavy, heated, angry, and
depressing.
At the end of all of it, we always find a way to reconcile.
Absolutely. Even if a conversation has no resolution, which a lot of them, in reality, a lot of conversations just don't. And a lot of debate doesn't have any resolution to it because we're not here to change each other's opinions.
No.
We are here to allow those opinions and to
be heard.
To enable them to be heard. Exactly. And that's just it.
Because that is how discourse should proceed.
It should. It doesn't anymore. It really doesn't.
Again, that's for a later episode.
It is for a later episode. Well, I think it's for all the episodes.
Yeah, I was tasked with making a list of all the potential topics for episodes. I'm almost at 2 pages now, and we've actually mentioned quite a few of what we'd like to talk about.
We have
just in these last few minutes.
Yeah,
and there's plenty more to come. So
yeah. I mean, there are going to be all kinds of stuff. I mean, what were we talking about? We were talking about our marriage, the realities of being in love for the rest of your life, and the joy thereof. Yeah. Not the dish soap.
The one thing that seems to rule the major part of our lives these days, which is our discontent with society and our interactions with coworkers and people out in public and things that we see now that we didn't see, years ago and vice versa. And it's just, I mean, we could go on for hours and hours. It's pretty much what we do most every day. Hey, how was your day? And, it turns
launch into complaint.
Yeah.
But it's all right because we have each other. Mm-hmm. And that,
I say it every day. There is nowhere I would rather be than here in this room with my wife, our dog, and just to retire away from all the aggravations of the world.
And there are so many. And we're not just going to be complaining. We are going to be talking about some fun stuff too. We were talking about some movies that we have some thumbs up, thumbs down opinions on.
I still think it's the greatest thing in the world or one of the greatest things in the world that you concur that Indiana Jones 3 is the best of them.
It is the best of them.
Up top.
I'm sorry. There's no... I'm sorry.
No judgment here, but if you disagree with us...
You're wrong. That's just a fact, okay? Seriously.
A later episode.
Fine.
Yeah.
I will save that, bottle that one up, and shelve it
just make sure
for now.
You bring Marcus along with you, because we're going to need him.
Yes. Other things, we're going to be talking about how we spend our leisure time, because there's been a rampant disagreement about the... what's the word for it? The appropriateness of how one should spend their downtime.
Appropriation?
No, it's not definitely not appropriate. We'll go with appropriateness. Okay. I think works.
Well, we'll check Merriam-Webster's after this.
How to appropriately handle your leisure time and your downtime and your days off.
Our leisure time is spent very differently.
Yes, and of course today our leisure time has apparently been spent working on this podcast.
This is not work. Just like our marriage, this is not work.
It's not work. No. It's fun.
We agreed a long time ago that a marriage should not be work. It should not be difficult.
No.
And it has been everything but.
Yeah. And I mean, that's not to say that we, because we're humans, that we have lived some sort of, idealized, romanticized, perfect life. We've been perfectly human with each other. And the beauty of it is that we understand that as a couple. And that's going to go hand in hand with rule number 2, I think. Specifically not getting personal when it comes to, arguing our points and our opinions and everything, because we do, once the cameras are stopped, we do have to.
I think we do
have to live with each other.
Naturally able to avoid that sort of thing. Like, I have no interest in taking personal shots at you, and I don't think you do of me either.
Absolutely not. But rule number 3, and the most important rule.
The one that doesn't need to be written down.
Exactly. Yeah. We don't need to write this down for anybody.
Should we say it in unison?
Yeah.
1, 3. 1, 2, 3. Don't be a dick.
That's just it, is don't be a dick. I think that's the mantra that we really sort of live by. And that's going to be the all-encompassing idea behind this podcast, because we're just here to talk. Mm-hmm. We're just here to talk. We talk with each other, and we talk deeply and intellectually. We're two relatively intelligent people. You don't have to laugh at that. We're relatively intelligent.
It makes me laugh because I think, yes, we are, but to what degree is, something to think about.
Well, now the internet has its opportunity to really judge us. Yeah.
No, because there's no judgment.
No, we won't judge each other. Only we've agreed to those rules.
If they want
I have a feeling that the rest of the world is going to judge us eventually.
I think the world has been judging us since inception, so, but we've gotten by pretty okay.
Do we want to cut it? Do we want to make this one shorter?
No,
you want to go to a half
There have
hour?
been so many conversations that we have had over the last 2 years that I've always thought, like, why didn't we record that? Why didn't we have that, like, when we started talking about this podcast? Like, we should have recorded that. That could have been an episode.
You have said that. All right, well, let's get back to the meat of it then. Tell the people about yourself.
I am 36 years old. I am married to a wonderful woman.
Thanks.
I am a employee of the United States Postal Service. I am a musician. I am a father of 2. I have a lot of really weird, quirky collecting hobbies. And now I am a podcaster.
You have a lot of quirky collecting hobbies. I think is hilarious to actually hear you say out loud. I collect bones.
I haven't seen you collect bones lately.
They're hanging all over this room right
but you've
now.
taken quite the absence from it. I mean, I think you're just waiting for me to kick the bucket so you can add mine to the collection.
Well, I mean, in all fairness, there is that headless bird down the road that I have not actually brought home. So you talk about restraint. I have not brought that headless bird into this house. You welcome.
We're going to name it Ichabod?
Aww.
That's appropriate.
I think so now.
Anyway. So tell us about you.
I am...
no pressure.
No pressure.
None whatsoever. No.
What about me? What do you want to know about me? I'm an open book. I have, with the exception that apparently very few people on this planet actually know my real name, which I think is the funniest.
We'll start with that.
No. No, we're not that honest.
Right.
But I am, I work... Stop it. I do have a day job working at a cannabis dispensary, which is a lot of fun and a lot of work at the same time. I am, most importantly, I am an artist. I'm an artist and a model, and I have been for a couple of decades at this point because I'm also old. And I have a tendency to talk a lot about physical and mental health because I do have a lot of issues in those areas, and I do have a lot of very serious opinions when it comes to it. Mm-hmm. But I'm married to a very handsome man. Downtown Andy. He is wonderful. He has graced me with the finally being able to be a stepmother, which is a boatload of fun. And will probably be even more fun when those kids are older, because then we can really party.
Yeah.
We can all party together. Because you know those kids are just party animals waiting to bust out.
I'm dreading the day when they, discover on their own the interweb adventures, both this and YouTube related, and anything else that they may come across. Be like, hey, remember this? I just found this. That's why I have my last podcast episodes all blocked on YouTube, because they don't need to see or hear any of that.
They don't need to see or hear any of that, and it's gonna be an even longer conversation when they inevitably discover me, because I've been on the internet for a long time, and it is not PG-13. I have not had a very family friendly.
That's a whole nother episode right there. Is my claims that I found you on MySpace long before we ever met, and I'm like, I gotta get me one of those.
I know you think you found me on MySpace, but I have a feeling you would have found me on Pornhub first.
No, because I would remember that.
You think you would.
I gave up Pornhub a long time ago. I'm an X-Videos guy.
Well,
That wasn't the signal. That was just,
I've been all over the internet. I mean, we both have. You for your music and me for my boobies mostly. But I mean, you take fame where you can.
I mean, like, I've always been the get-rich-quick scheme kind of guy. Like, if I have an idea, it's like, let me just run with it until I get bored of it, and then it's like, okay, well, at least we did that.
Yeah.
Like, I can still go back and watch that, those YouTube videos and be like, that literally was just a way for me and my friends at the time to hang out with each other. It's just like, okay, we all have jobs, we all have things going on. Let's film ourselves doing exactly what you and I are doing right now, but with alcohol and cigarettes.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah. This is basically a way for us to hang out. This is like scheduled hangout time.
It is, which, is very few and far between these days.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. It's true.
But, this was just one more creative outlet for us to express ourselves and to share it with the world.
Yeah. Yeah. Between everything. You and I, as artists and as creatives, I think it's weird that it's taken this long for us to grow into podcasting. I think it's funny that it's taken this long.
It was something I never saw. Like, again, I told you the other night, I don't like the word podcasting. It's one of those newer like buzzwords that I'm like, what the hell is one of that? And you had explained to me where it came from and who coined it. And when I did the videos with my friends years ago, they were like, oh, you're doing a podcast. I'm like, a what? Like, aren't we just making, a visual program on YouTube or making videos on YouTube? And like, no, you're doing a podcast. Okay, if that's what you want to call it, it's literally us just talking about the news and the world and, things we like and don't like, all the things that we've talked about. But I would much rather be sitting here with you than anybody else.
Aww.
I'll say it today. I'll say it on the last. I'll say it every episode in between. I never get tired of you. I never get tired of being around you, hanging out with you. That's why I married you.
You're so cute.
I know.
You're so freaking cute. Oh, man. And now I got a big dopey grin on my face that I can't. You can hear.
Anyway, getting back to your point,
voice.
As musicians, artists, I mean, you saw how much I was smiling last night. I performed 2 sets with 2 different bands last night, and for the next coming 4 or 5 months, every gig that we've booked are dual bills, so I'm doing 2 sets every night.
You're gonna have to stretch a lot.
Yeah.
And drink so much water.
Because I am most happy on the stage. Of course, outside of being here with you.
Thank you.
But that is my sanctuary. I love performing. I love playing music. I love being around my friends playing music and performing in front and entertaining people. I have been an entertainer since 5-6 years old, when I unfortunately allowed you to see that video where I'm trying to mimic my brother in a play that he's doing, and then I see somebody's filming, and I'm like, don't look at me!
I want to make a ringtone out of that.
No.
No?
No.
I've been performing too. I was a dancer all the way up through high school until I stopped growing up and I started growing boobs, and was told basically I was never going to be a ballerina, so I gave it up. I gave up my dream. And everybody says it's never too late. You can always, still follow your dream. You can't. When you're a 4'10", busty 40-year-old, I don't think being a ballerina is in the cards anymore. I truly don't. And I've accepted that, and I have moved on to other forms of creative expression.
But that doesn't mean you can't dance.
Oh, no, and you see me dance all the time.
And it's wonderful.
I dance
have
nonstop.
So many clips on my phone. You can dance if you want to, and you can leave your friends behind.
And my happy place is usually leaving my friends behind. I honestly, I am, your happy place is on the stage in front of people, and my happy place is in a quiet corner somewhere with a cup of coffee and a good book. I think I get so overwhelmed sometimes by noise and by people that my sanctuary is just peace. It's just, I will sink below a bubble bath and be perfectly happy so long as I don't drown. I will be perfectly happy and contented in a place like that. But I have, being able to share sort of the realm of creativity with my partner is very important to me. And it's become really amazing to be able to have someone like you, with me to share those things with. Because, in the past, I think that you and I have been involved with people who really did not, they didn't have those same aspirations. They didn't have those same outlets.
We're still both involved with people who don't have the same aspirations as we do. Like we know what we want in so many different facets of life.
Yeah.
And, even just for this podcast, you insisted that I come up with the music and then record it and then wouldn't let me stop until, something was good enough for us to use. And then I'm sure
we'll sound like a dictator. Or a stage parent.
I mean, nobody will ever convince me that anything that I write or record is good, because I will always be my biggest critic.
Yeah.
One of my favorite guitar players, I read an interview once where he said he doesn't listen to his own stuff because all he hears is the mistakes. That's all I ever hear, is just like the little like things that, only I would notice. And, because at my core, I'm still a fan. I want to be entertained by the people that made me want to start doing these things.
Yeah.
So I don't really listen to much of my own stuff either.
Yeah.
But I enjoy this. Like, I'm probably never going to listen to this podcast unless I'm checking to make sure that the audio is okay. But
I have a feeling you're going to be checking it pretty often.
I can't stand the sound of my own voice on recording.
But I understand that, because I feel that same way about my work. I mean, like my photos that photographers have taken of me, I can look at all day long, but it is a rarity with very few exceptions that I will look at photos that I took of myself. And it's the same thing with my paintings and any of my videos and everything. I don't want to study them because I do pick out the mistakes. I do. So when people tell me that they love my work, I will never understand it. And I've had artists that I admire, visual artists and tattoo artists, who have given me money for my work. And it boggles my mind. It's perpetual imposter syndrome, because I will never believe that I am good enough to be admired by people who I admire, especially.
That's when I have to remind myself that, we are not the audience.
No.
We are not the audience for ourselves.
No.
So, like, people still tell me to this day that they listen to stuff I recorded in high school, and I think, oh, please, why wouldn't you just throw out that garbage? Because to me, it is garbage. It's something. It's like a freshman and sophomore effort, before I really knew anything about performing and recording and being professional and how things are done and why they're done and what makes them good to a large amount of people. Which is why I'm particularly appreciative of the fact that I don't sing on a lot of my stuff. Because I can just listen to the guitar and be like, okay, I did fairly good there, but, somebody else is singing it, so that's good. And then I can appreciate that because, like, a lot of the bands I was in, I was a fan before I was a member.
Yeah.
So I was able to appreciate it from the outside, and, I'll still listen to old recordings of bands I was in before I joined and think, like, oh, man, this takes me back to when I was still a fan. Then... I joked about it last night. I was like, I like these bands so much, I wouldn't stop until I joined them. And then that's how I get to play with everybody I've ever wanted to play with.
I mean, I think that's a pretty good way to do it. I think so.
I think the greatest thing in the world is that the majority of people that are involved in the bands I'm in now are all people I grew up with. They're all people I've known my entire life, or at least most of my life. And it's kind of people picked apart from different projects and different bands that are now combined into an amalgamation of just, you know, something where everyone knows each other now, and everyone's so happy to see each other because, you know, meetings are now so few and far between. You know, everyone's got lives, everyone's got jobs, and you know, that's pretty much been my biggest goal, is just bringing people together. It's like, we shouldn't let distance or circumstances of life dictate the frequency with which we gather, you know?
Yeah.
I surprised you with a birthday party. You surprised me with a birthday party. Yeah, this year was great.
That was great.
But just the fact that my friends from all different walks of life managed to gather for that event, it's like, you know, because later life has taught us that, you know, life, or at least me, is that life is precious, and, you know, anything can happen in an instant, and I value more so than ever before the time I spend with my friends.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that speaks a good amount to why I wanted to do something like this with you, because now we're getting it on the record. We're getting it on the record. This is just our life together, our lives separately and our life together being brought on the record to the light. And now this is, if nothing else is going to be, this is going to be a part of our legacy now, because it's going to be left behind for generations to come. And your grandkids one day are going to find this nonsense, and they're going to understand you like they never thought they would. It's going to be crazy. And that mad woman who married you.
Yeah.
It's going to be wild.
What did you say they're going to call you? It's like you're the hot grandma?
I am going to be the hot grandma.
Hot grandma?
Watch me.
Or no, your dad's hot wife or something?
I'm going to be granddad's hot wife.
There we go.
It's going to be great. Watch it happen in real time. I'm ready for it. Maybe that's why
I'm so ready for it.
Maybe
now.
that's why I'm so excited about being
40.
Maybe that's why I'm excited about being 40. I'm ready. I've been telling people I haven't dyed my hair in over a year because I am ready for the gray.
That's because I kept telling you I wanted to see your natural color.
Well, I mean,
you were blonde when we started dating.
Yeah.
You were pink when we got married.
Yeah.
You went like silvery purple for a hot minute there, and now this is au natural.
Au natural, which, let me tell you, this is a sign of intimacy. I'm not going to lie. I have not been in a relationship since high school where anyone has actually seen my natural hair color. You welcome.
Listen, I've been open and intimate with you since day one.
Yeah, I was.
I took you to the grocery store on our first date.
You did. And that's a whole other episode unto itself also. We'll have to tell the people our love story.
Yeah.
We will. We'll just have to make an episode about that and actually
how I trekked you into the woods and we almost got eaten.
Yeah. That's going to be, yeah. That's how he proposed to me.
Yeah.
Took me out into the middle of the woods.
Almost got eaten by
got eaten by wolves as the sun set and we were trapped in the snow.
It was going to be so romantic.
It would have been. And we were both dying of COVID at the time.
We were. Well, no, you were. I don't know.
Was.
They still couldn't tell me what I had.
You had COVID.
I guess.
I was there. You had COVID.
What else have you given me that I don't know about?
Apparently, I gave you lupus.
Yeah.
You seem to think that I'm
going based off lupus. Whatever the doctors
Listen, if a doctor ever tries to tell you that I gave you an autoimmune disorder, you fire that person immediately. And you walk away.
I have to employ them first.
Literally never look them in the eye again.
Oh, man.
It's going to be a good time.
It's been a good time.
It's been a good time already.
Still a good time.
And I think that this is going to be, you're right, it's not work. This is going to be fun.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be a blast. And I hope that people are ready for it because I think that, I think we're entertaining. I think we're funny.
If you guys want to hear more about any of this, go tell my boss to give me Saturdays off.
Yeah, I managed to get Saturdays off. I managed to squeeze Saturdays
and she
into my
still
schedule.
can't understand why I love Saturdays so much. Like, Saturday's the day. It's the day to just go at your own pace and relax and do things that you want to do or need to do or, you know... I was so achy when I got home last night. I'm like, I'm so glad I'm off tomorrow so I can just take the dog out at my leisure, make my coffee at my leisure, put on cartoons at my leisure. And then here we are, middle of the day, doing this. Because, you know, again, our free time together is few and far between.
We still haven't watched cartoons.
No, we've been watching... Well, again, it's WrestleMania weekend, which is going to give some people, an idea of when this is being recorded. Yeah. Very, very different perspectives on professional wrestling. Who've been watching it my entire life versus my wife, who, since 2018?
Yeah.
Yeah, you missed all the good stuff.
I didn't miss all the good stuff. I have enjoyed quite a bit of the stuff that I have come in later for.
You know what comes to mind now is the fact, like, we grew up in the Connecticut, New York area. Like, I've lived my whole life in Connecticut. You've gone back and forth between New York and Connecticut.
Yeah.
But, like, this is, like, the wrestling state, okay? This is where, the McMahons and WWE and all that stuff and everything has been the biggest because of this area. I often wonder if in other parts of the country, wrestling is as big of a thing, given that, it wasn't as prominent as it's been here. Because you go anywhere and you'll find somebody who's either a fan, knows about it, talks about it, knows somebody, or is related to somebody who knows about it, talks about it, works in the business, is associated with the business in some way. I mean, our mutual acquaintance, went from being a musician to being a musician and a wrestler.
Yeah.
Which led to other connections for both of us within the business.
Yeah.
So it does kind of touch at least our lives in a multitude of ways.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be good. I'm excited to see what comes of it. And we do, for all y'all listening, we do have social media. You can find us on Instagram at DT Andy and JJ Star.
Why did you put me first? You should have been first.
It flows better.
Yeah.
Because it sounds better when Star ends it.
Yeah.
I am the happy ending.
You certainly are.
Woohoo! But yeah, you can find us on the social media. You can find us on Instagram at DT Andy and JJ Star. You can find us, both of us, on TikTok. Mm-hmm. We don't do a whole lot of TikTok.
We don't have a combined TikTok.
We don't have a combined TikTok now.
But I'm Downtown Andy on TikTok.
And it's JJ Star. You can find us, on Twitter. You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on OnlyFans.
Facebook.
You can find us on YouTube.
We made a YouTube, right?
We do have a YouTube channel, and we will be actually, eventually, this podcast will be in video form, and we will have those videos up on YouTube.
If there are any social media platforms that you would like to see us on that we are not currently, I guess drop us a line, say, hey, why aren't you guys on here? We are welcoming of all comments, suggestions, ideas for topics of episodes, anything that you want to get out to us for content. I mean, we are, we're open for business.
Just remember, don't be a dick.
Don't be that dick.
Don't be that dick. Final thoughts on today's episode and the upcoming premiere.
I mean, do you want to record it right after this?
Probably. I have no doubt that we will jump immediately into it. Yeah.
Are we going to edit that part out, or?
We're probably going to edit a bunch of this stuff out.
No, we'll just give them the whole 40 minutes.
all
See, look, it's 40
all
minutes.
the B-real.
40 minutes just passed like that.
Wow, it really did.
See, now, if this were me and I was, if this was one of my favorite podcasts that I'd be listening to, like, in the truck while I'm driving along, I wouldn't want it to end here. Because guess what? My shift goes for 6 hours. So I need more stuff to just keep me going.
All right, then we got to start cranking these out.
Yeah, because some other postal employee out there is going to be like, what, that's it? What am I paying for?
Well, the ultimate plan is that we are going to be putting out a new episode every week.
Team Blue, by the way. Blue Gang. I used to be yellow, now I'm Blue Gang. It's a postal
that's a postal thing. Got it. Anyway, so yeah, the ultimate plan is we are going to be putting out a new episode every week. You can find it at thattalkingpodcast.buzzsprout.com, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio. I'm pretty sure it'll be up on YouTube also. You can find it
we'll make sure
YouTube
we get it
channel.
to all of them, yeah.
We will eventually, once we figure out how the hell this whole thing works, because we're just sort of flying by the seat of our pants right now, figuring it out as we go.
Yeah. As the weeks progress, we'll develop a style.
Yeah, a style. I mean, we finally got music down, so that's something. A step in the right direction.
Now we just need to make the movie poster.
Working on it.
Yeah.
We will get that poster done. It's on the list.
Any graphic artists out there want to help us out? Drop us a line.
I feel so humiliated every time I ask people for art help because I feel like I should know these things.
No, you should be networking with other artists the same way I network with other musicians.
Well, you didn't get anyone else to write this song.
Because you asked me to do it.
Yes, I did. And I like that the thing that I asked you to write, you said you hated.
Listen, it can always be better, okay? Not everybody can be Carrie King and do one take and, make it onto the record.
Well, this was one take.
Next time you'll come home, I'll have the whole band just set up right here in the bedroom, ready to go. Because
so
everybody needs a
upset
theme
about
song. Like, wouldn't your day be so much better, okay, if you walked into the office and you just had your own personal band to play you in?
Listen, if I had a theme song at all, it would be The Spanish Flea. Okay, by Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass. You know that. It is the constant pause music in my brain.
That is on my playlist of things to case my mail to.
It will absolutely.
Thanks
it
to
should
you.
be. It is my theme song.
Along with now Tequila and all the Benny Hill theme song, all the most obscure, trumpet related songs just to turn heads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to really make people wonder, what the fuck are you listening to?
Well, from all of us here at That Talking Podcast,
All two of us.
Yeah, we'd like to thank you for spending your day, your Saturday, your whatever day this is with us. Stay tuned for more, and we will catch you on the next one. Until then, I'm Downtown Andy.
And I'm JJ Starr.
We will talk to you later.